Welcome to the Pro Drummer Path. My name is Clayton. I'm super excited you want to learn how to drum. I can't wait to get into everything that we're going to talk about. Before we get into this lesson, there's two things that you're going to need. You're going to need a pair of drumsticks and you're going to need some type of pad, practice pad, or you can play on your snare, whatever works for you. I've actually had this pad for a long time, so it's pretty crusty and beat up. Promise you, these are worth the investment. If you've been on the fence about it, you should definitely get one. Now, so in order to kind of get the most out of this class, guys, I'm going to teach a lot of things. The reality, though, is you've got to put in the work. Okay. The cool thing about an instrument, any instrument or any craft or profession is, in my opinion, anybody can do it if they're willing to practice and put in the work. We're going to cover a lot of things, a lot of foundations. We're going to talk about a lot of lessons and things that can help you become a great drummer, but you have to put in the work. You've got to stay committed. There's going to be plateaus, there's going to be valleys. That's all part of learning anything new. Even while filming this and making these lessons, I've had to learn a lot to be able to get to where I'm at today, not just as a drummer, as a person. So I'm super excited. You want to learn how to drum. Personally, it's one of my favorite things on this planet. I've been playing for 22 years. My parents got me a drum set when I was 8 years old for Christmas. It was the best Christmas gift I've probably ever gotten, and I absolutely would never go back. So, we're going to teach some real basics. Let's talk about first how to hold the sticks. We're going to talk about how to use the pad, actually get some rebound. I'm going to teach you guys some really basic, simple exercises that are going to help you get some control in your hands. And hopefully, by the end of this class, you will understand how to hold the stick, how to use rebound, what different grips work best for you. We're going to get into some of the finer details, like certain situations when you're changing grips and dynamics, consistency, all that stuff. But for now, we just need to build a really solid foundation. So when you get on that kit, you can start playing and performing the way you want to. So first things first, we got to grab our sticks. Okay. Now, the first question is, where do you hold your sticks? I've seen a lot of people pick up drumsticks and hold them a ton of different ways. There's tons of debate about which grip is the best, right? The three main grips that I know of are going to be German grip, which is going to be palms down, French grip, which is your palms face each other, and then you have your traditional grip. Now, traditional grip is not something I'm going to be talking about or teaching. Personally, I don't use it unless I want to mess around and feel a little jazzy. I'm not Buddy Rich by any capacity, but there's nothing wrong with traditional grip. It's an amazing grip. When I used to do drum and bugle corps, we used to play traditional grip on the snares. I think it's really cool to know different grips and play with them. But if you want to learn about traditional grip, that's probably going to be a different teacher. We're going to be talking about German and French. So, first things first, for either grip, German or French, you've got to understand something called the fulcrum. So, your thumb and your index finger are where you hold your stick, probably 4 to 5 inches from the bottom. So, don't hold your stick too low and don't hold your stick too high. You'll see why once we start talking about rebound, but about 4 to 5 inches. Good rule of thumb is if you just grab the stick at the bottom, you should have maybe about an inch or so of stick hanging out from the bottom, and then pinch with your finger and your thumb. Now, leave a little bit of space here, okay? They shouldn't be connected like this. That means you're pinching too hard. You're going to leave just a little bit of space, and it's going to sit right on that line on your finger. The stick's going to go straight on that line. Thumb's going to go over, and bam. What we have here is called a fulcrum. Now, you see how I can move the stick back and forth in between my finger and my thumb? That is our fulcrum. This is going to be where you hold the stick. This is where you get your rebound, where you get your control. Your other fingers are just going to slightly wrap onto the stick. Again, not closed. That means you're squeezing too hard, and not off the stick. That means you probably don't have enough control and the thing's going to go all over the place. So, nice and loose, fingers on. You'll hear a lot of debate about the pinky, all right? I had a private lessons teacher that when I would be playing and my pinkies would stick out, he would hit my pinky with a drumstick. I'm not saying you have to keep pinkies on. Sometimes my pinkies still come off. but I do recommend you get used to keeping your fingers in unison, because at the end of the day, it's going to help you later down the road just with a little bit better control. But again, if you can play it, who the heck can tell you what's wrong? It's all about what's comfortable and what makes sense to you. However, you don't want to be like this, because this is going to be that's a weird drummer right there, very probably sloppy and all over the place. So we've got our fulcrum, right? We've got a nice balance, and I want you guys to do that real quick. Just take your stick and just give it a little wiggle, right? Just wiggle it in between your fingers. See how they go up and down, and you see how my fingers look like such. Boom, boom, boom. Real simple. You might feel them kind of stick kind of moves up and down. Over time, you'll get really comfortable holding that stick in place. In the beginning, it might twist a little bit. It might slide a little bit. Stick twist is a natural thing. Even the best drummers in the world get a little stick twist. So don't get super stuck in your head about, I've got to be perfect about this. It's about control, it's about comfort and consistency. So now, when it comes to how you play over the pad, now typically I leave my pad right at belt level, so waist level right here where my belt would sit. I have it a little bit lower just because I'm actually using a djembe as a practice pad, but it's totally fine for me. I find it pretty comfortable. Some people like their snare a little higher, some people like it a little bit lower. We'll get into kit setup and stuff a little bit later down the road. But take your hands, you got your fulcrum, fingers on, and then just drop your elbows down to your sides like this. Okay. Now, all you're going to do is just bring your arms up over the pad. Real simple. Do it again. Bring your arms up over the pad. Notice how my elbows aren't super flared. I'm not all hunched on it. I'm just bringing my elbows up and I'm over the pad. Now, what we have here is called German grip or match grip. Okay. So my palms are facing down. With this grip, a majority of your power is going to be coming from your wrist. Okay. So you see how my wrist is moving? Yeah, you get a little bit of elbow in there. It's not the end of the world, but a majority of the power is going to be coming from your wrist. Now, when you're doing more of a French grip, which I believe most drummers are a cross between French and match, depending, usually your hi-hat's going to be your French grip, and then usually your snare is going to be match, but it depends on the drummer, depends on their style and preference. So German grip, your palms are facing, sorry, French grip, your palms are facing each other, and a majority of my power now is going to come from my fingers, not my wrists. So German grip is wrist, French grip is fingers. Really simple stuff. So we bring our hands down, we're going to bring them up. We're going to start in matched grip, okay? Now, what I want you guys to do here is we're going to practice real simple, just hitting the pad and getting a full stroke. So bring your hands up and then just drop the stick down and let it bounce. Don't squeeze it too hard, just watch what this looks like. See how I got, well, how many did I get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got about 6, 7 hits out of that one stroke. I'm holding it very loosely in my fulcrum. I'm letting the stick get rebound. Same with the left. Real simple. Just holding that fulcrum, driving with the wrist. Now, this might seem super simple stuff, guys. Simple doesn't mean easy. And sometimes the most simple things are the most important things. So just drop your stick, let it do some bouncing. Just get comfortable with that. Is this the most glamorous thing in the world? No. But this is where every drummer starts. Trust me, you'll thank me in the future once you do this for a bit. Okay. Now that we've got a little bit of foundation set up, we're going to talk about what's known as legato strokes. So legato strokes are full strokes. The stick's going probably 9 or so inches. I don't know the exact degrees here. You're not going to 90 degrees. You're going, maybe to that 60, 70 degree range. We're just going to bounce the stick down and back up, and I want you to catch it one at a time. And notice how everything's coming from my wrist. I'm not slamming with my elbow. I'm not throwing my shoulder into it. I'm just Now, when you're doing a full stroke, a full legato stroke, obviously we're just practicing getting the stick to the max, but we're not going up to 90 degrees. A legato stroke is going to look something like this. Really simple. Squeezing with my fulcrum, fingers are loosely on the stick, following the stick's motion as it goes, and I'm driving from my wrist. So we're going to add in a little metronome to that. So this is 60 beats per minute. We're just going to play some open legato strokes, one at a time. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm focusing on consistency, making sure that my hands feel the same, not squeezing the stick too hard, letting it bounce back up. Is it pretty? No. Is it going to impress anybody? Probably not. Is it the foundation of being a great drummer? Absolutely. Now, don't be afraid to pause the video, take 30 seconds, 2 minutes, and just 60 beats per minute. Let those hands drop. Focus on control from the wrist, keeping your fingers on, developing a fulcrum. And pro tip, in this moment right now, it might already be a little frustrating. Maybe your hands feel a little goofy and maybe they don't do what your brain is telling them to do. Trust me, that's normal. Majority of the time, practice doesn't pay off till you sleep. And what I mean by that is we're going to work a bunch of things throughout these courses. And in those moments, you're going to be like, dang it, this is hard. Why isn't this clicking? I can't do this. I'm frustrated. And then you're going to go to bed and you're going to come back tomorrow. And when we pop on the next course, you're going to be like, wait a second. Wait, I can actually do it a little better now. And that's how it's worked for every lesson that I've ever taken in my life. The first time I learned it, it wasn't easy and I wasn't good at it. The more I did it, the more I slept on it, the more I came back, the faster I got, the more control I got. The reason for this is you're creating what's called the mind muscle connection. So if you guys ever are in the gym, first time you lift weights, it feels a little goofy. The 20th time you lift weights, you have that mind muscle connection. Now your muscles know how to move the weights the way your mind wants them to. So things feel a lot smoother, you get a lot stronger, and that's how you lift bigger weights. So again, working those legato strokes, 60 beats per minute, 2, 3, 4. Is it pretty? No. Is it the most fun? No. Is it the foundation of being a great drummer? Yes. Okay. So we've got a little bit of match grip going on. Sorry, my fiance is being a goofball in the corner. So we've got a little bit of match grip going on, right? Now we're going to do the same exercise, but we're going to practice a little bit of the French grip, okay? Remember, French grip is your palms facing each other. So we're going to pop on that six. Well, actually, let's just start basic. So say, just like we did for match grip, how we went like this, I want you to do it with French now. Sorry, German, French. See how the stick bounces? Driving with my fingers. Still a little bit of wrist in here. Don't get me wrong. I got to pick the stick up. But a majority of that power when I pull the stick down, it's coming from my fingers. See that? Just letting it bounce. Rebound is your best friend. You've probably seen videos of drummers playing really fast. They're using a lot of rebound. It's not all muscle and might. It's understanding the control, the inertia, the physics that play into being a drummer. And I don't know about you guys, but I find this to be fun already. I'm already having a blast learning how to drum, relearning how to drum, teaching myself and solidifying the foundations is always so good because every time I try to play the more difficult things, it's built on those foundations. So going back to the well, having a drink of water when you're in the desert of life is really important. So what we're going to do again, full legato strokes, just alternating. And we're going to play 60 beats per minute. We're just going to alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I'm letting the stick bounce up a little bit. And don't worry about being perfect. There's no such thing. Practice makes progress. And see, I'm doing a little bit of lifting my elbow in there, using a little bit of forearm to drive, but that's fine. Just feeling the rhythm. Don't let somebody tell you got to be, it's there's so many different ways to cook an egg. What matters is that you play in time and you can play. Is it fun? Probably not. Is it the most glamorous thing? Probably not. But is it the foundation of being a great drummer? Yes. What I want you guys to do, since we're doing our French grip, we're just going to switch it over to German and watch that change. Wrist, 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 wrist. Switch it back. Fingers, 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 fingers. And switch. Fingers. Really simple stuff. Guys, cool part about drums is you can get lost in the theory and the music and the notations and all of that, but it's such a visual instrument. So if you see what I'm doing and you see that you're doing the same thing, then you're doing it right. It might not feel super great. You might not feel super control. Even I've been playing for 22 years. And still my left hand is my non-dominant hand. Sometimes I'm like, man, this thing feels dumb. This thing's not working like my right. And that's totally natural. Most people are going to have some type of imbalance unless you're ambidextrous. Some people can play both arms, everything the same. But think about it. If you're right-handed, you've been brushing your teeth with your right hand your whole life. You've been opening every door with your right hand your whole life, or vice versa. You're left-handed. Every time you use the bathroom, you've been using your left hand, right? So you want to make sure that when you're playing, you're just focusing on consistency, focusing on keeping your hands the same, whether it's wrists, whether it's fingers, even, see, a little bit loose there. Whether just being even, holding onto the stick,